Lori?
We are talking about lots today.
CBD.
Huh?
CBD.
CBD.
I literally have written the book on CBD.
Excuse me
Did
for
you know that?
coughing. Huh?
Did you know that?
I do.
I hope you knew that. Yeah, about 4 years ago, I wrote a book on CBD called Myth or Miracle. And I'm not saying that to just promote it, but since we're here, I will promote it. It's available on Amazon. I will put a link down in the show notes. But in that book, I kind of did a lot of research because as trainers, Lori and I get asked about CBD all the time, or did back then and still do. But as much as research as I did, I don't hold a candle to Mr. Ben.
No, Ben's got it all.
He's the expert. So why don't you go ahead and take it away, Lori?
All right, Ben, are you with us?
I am.
All right. So Ben, let's get started. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am 47, so I'm not quite in the Living Fit After 50 club, but I will be there soon enough. I have been a stock trader for the majority of my adult life. Moved to Miami out of college, grew up outside of Boston, went to school in upstate New York, and my future wife and I moved from there down to Miami to kind of warm up after those, lake effect snow winters up in New York. And I fell into day trading down there, and I was pretty good at my particular niche. And I did that for the better part of 20 years. It turned into an algorithmic trading operation. And I did that from Wilmington, North Carolina. I moved there 5 years later after leaving Miami in 2002. I came to Wilmington. So just about 20 years now I've been in Wilmington. And I continued to trade for the majority of the time since then. I was good at it, and things were good for a bit. I invested in a lot of real estate, which didn't work out so well in 2008 and 2009. Lost all of it. So it'd be a better story if I walked away from a lucrative trading career. But by the time I found CBD, it was no longer lucrative. It was a grind, competing against much, much bigger players on Wall Street from down here with my small team. I had an excellent programmer who still lives in this town, and we were able to keep up for a while. But it wasn't even losing to the competition. It turned into a grind, is the best way to put it in a short story. So I was already looking for something else when I had my first experience with CBD. Around 40, I started, I played football in college and baseball in high school, and nothing bothered me for the most part through all of that until 40. And then I got sciatica and tendonitis in my wrists and osteoarthritis in my right shoulder. And it felt like my warranty had expired or something. So, So I started doing all kinds of stuff to try to, find some relief from, the pain, which is pretty much every day at that point. And I'm good with pain, but it was definitely getting old. And so I was doing physical therapy and stretching. I was seeing a physical therapist and doing it at home. And I would get, a couple teaspoons of ginger powder and turmeric powder and all this every natural anti-inflammatory in the sun, throw it into water and chase it with coffee every day. I was trying all kinds of stuff because, the pain had reached that level where I was trying all that kinds of stuff. And it maybe made a small dent, but nothing meaningful. And my good friend, Justin Fox, area musician here in Wilmington, one of the best guitarists you'll find, he told me he had tried CBD for anxiety and that it worked well. And he mentioned that to me a few times. And finally I was like, you know what? I'll try it for, all these different ailments that I've developed. And I was not expecting it to work. Not at all. I would not believe my own stories if somebody else had told me them. But I tried CBD, and on the fourth day of a 100 milligram a day regimen, my sciatica was gone. I woke up and it was just gone, and it's remained gone all this time. My arthritis in my right shoulder, which hurt just about as much as sciatica, maybe even more on some days, did not disappear immediately, but this was in September, right when Florence hit. I was actually evacuated when I first tried the CBD. I took it with me, and I had surgery scheduled for that shoulder in January, 4 months later. But in the time in between, the CBD, I credit the CBD because nothing else changed. The pain subsided to the point where I could cancel that surgery. At this point, I coach Little League, I coach travel baseball, and I can throw 500 plus pitches a week with that same shoulder that I wasn't sure I'd be able to throw it all with anymore. And it'll get a little sore, but I throw some CBD on it and I'm able to keep going the next day. So, that experience back 4 years ago with CBD, opened my eyes to the market I know is there and will continue to develop over the coming years. So I founded Carolina Pure, just about 4 years ago, three and a half years ago. And as I mentioned to you guys before the show started, I first was trying to farm as well as build a brand, and most of my focus was on the farming, and that was time misspent. The market for the biomass, the output of farms collapsed, of course, the year that I attempted to join that game. And so unless you can be your own buyer, and as a brand new brand, I could not be my own buyer because I wasn't going to put that much biomass to use, even though it was a relatively small farm. It was just ended up being a big waste of time and money. So I did focus after about a year and a half. I did try as a glutton for punishment. I actually tried farming again the second year. This was 2020 through the beginning of COVID. And as that basically went the same way the first year did, which is to say poorly. I, at that point in mid 2020, switched my focus to building the brands on the retail side. And that's where I should have been all along. And so I've been working on Carolina Pure, I was an English major in college. I've traded stock for 20 years. So I have no background in manufacturing, retail, production, distribution, marketing, brand building, none of it. So I've made a lot of expensive mistakes along the way. It's been a bit of a learning curve, but necessary as I kind of just jumped into the fire and kind of was just figuring it out as I went. And as you guys have pointed out when we were talking earlier, I have managed to get a couple of great employees. And I've got a good few partners on the ownership team. And so we are starting after a few years of kind of feeling our way through things to get to a cohesive brand building, methodology, which we're now, engaged in. And this interview is, part of that effort.
Awesome.
Great.
So that brings us to the present, basically.
I think you got it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that was great. So Ben, for people who don't know what you're even talking about, what is CBD?
Yeah. People think it's pot. It's not.
Yeah, and that's why one of the reasons I'm just so bullish on the prospects of the industry going forward is because even though everyone's heard about it and it's on every other sign that you pass down the street, flags out by the road, very few people have a real decent understanding of what any of this hemp stuff is about. There's basically legal weed now coming from hemp plants, things that will get you high, different cannabinoids. CBD, by the way, is a cannabinoid, stands for cannabidiol. It's kind of a similar word, so that makes it confusing right there. And it's one of the more prominent cannabinoids, what they call a major cannabinoid, because it's found in decent quantities in the plant without having to, get a whole bunch of biomass and get some of these smaller minor cannabinoids together. It's readily available in decent proportions in most hemp plants. And the difference between a hemp plant and a marijuana plant is really not a difference. I used to think before getting into this industry, there was actually a close relationship, but that they were different plants. They are not. They're the same plant, just marijuana plants are bred to have a lot of THC and hemp plants are bred not to have THC, but CBD. And CBD is so synonymous with hemp that it's used, as a synonym basically all over the place. We even do it at Carolina Pure because CBD has got better name recognition than hemp. But for the most part, the majority of Carolina Pure's products do contain other parts of the hemp plant. CBD is the primary ingredient, but they have trace amounts of the other cannabinoids like CBG, CBN. All of them have various health effects. They are very similar cannabinoids. They're all good anti-inflammatories. But CBN, for instance, there's strong anecdotal evidence to show that it's good for promoting sleep. CBG is an interesting cannabinoid because it is what all of the other ones start out as when the plant is in its infancy. And as the plant matures, that CBG can turn into CBD, THC, depending on the strain of plant, it'll turn into different things. So it's almost like a stem cell in that regard. But little is known about CBD. Forget about CBG and CBN. So we can come back to those. The point is that hemp and CBD are not technically interchangeable, even though they're used that way. CBD is in hemp, but hemp is not CBD. Basically, the cannabidiol, everything we're going to talk about here with regard to benefits and applications and uses is all, not to be construed as medical advice. And you could probably find some boilerplate language to read off. But, the reason being, not technically, I'm not supposed to say any of this, but I've kind of said, the heck with that, because, there's a reason, part of the reason the education level among the public is not higher is because the pharmaceutical industry is certainly not looking to do the CBD industry any favors, because Tylenol and ibuprofen alone, acetaminophen and ibuprofen are in excess of $150 billion a year market. They never did anything for me. I know some people find some relief in them, but if you're selling that, why would you want anyone to know what CBD does? Because CBD for many people does what those things do, but far better. And not many people know, but those non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs like ibuprofen actually deteriorate your joints through long-term usage. So the pain you're probably taking it for, you're ultimately going to be making worse by using these things. Not many people know that, but so there's a lot of lack of education, and that's because it's for 100 years it was illegal to do any kind of research with this stuff, and so it's only been available to research for a few years. And so we're going to see clinical data start to arrive, and it's going to be, I think, overwhelmingly clear what this can do for a variety of inflammatory ailments and others as well, besides inflammatory ailments. But I think we're definitely in the beginning phases of people getting to know what this stuff does and what it is, and knowing that it's not weed. And I'll shut up in 1 second, but one point to mention is, if you are concerned about the THC, because you are allowed to have THC, of course, being what's the main ingredient in marijuana or weed that gets you high. We have now come to learn there's 28 kinds of THC. The one that is the old school, THC that we've always referred to simply as THC is Delta 9 THC. And that is allowed to be in hemp products as long as it does not exceed 0.3% by weight, which is a very small amount. Most of our products, and that makes it a full spectrum product. Those that have that trace amount of THC, those are referred to as full spectrum products. They have all of the things that the hemp plant has, including a small amount of THC. Most of our products that are full spectrum have half or so of the legal limit. They average around 0.015% by weight. But I definitely want to mention this. I do know a few people, my wife is one of them, and only a few people that can actually feel that amount of THC in the hemp. My daughter can't, most people can't, but if you're very sensitive, you can. So for those people that can actually feel it and or cannot risk a positive drug test, you want to go with a broad spectrum product, which has all of the parts of the hemp plant, but the THC is completely processed out of it. So that's the only distinction between full spectrum products and broad spectrum products, is that the full spectrum has trace amounts of THC. The broad spectrum does not. So that, that's definitely something to keep in mind if you have a commercial driver's license or any other, occupation where you just cannot have a positive drug test. You want to stay away from a full spectrum product for that reason. So, as the public starts to get more comfortable with this and a greater level of understanding, and then of course, just more and more people knowing of success stories like my own, people who had dramatic, experiences with, pain disappearing or greatly mitigated, the market's just going to continue to develop. You can't, no matter what the pharmaceutical industry wants or doesn't want, you can't keep a lid on something that works as well as this.
I will say I'm a big fan of CBD also. I use it. I don't use it every day, but I use it because I have similar aches and pains that Ben does from playing football and so forth. And I'm one of those ones that does see the benefit pretty quickly with me. If I use a topical or I ingest, through chocolate or tinctures or whatever, I do see the benefit. So let's talk about that a little bit more in detail, Ben. What are the primary reasons? Let's say the top 3 reasons or the benefits. Let's go with that one. The benefits of using CBD.
I mean, I just being a little bit facetious, I would say pain, and pain. That is not all. I will give you a different answer. But it is good for plenty of other things. But for the people for whom it works, and that is, most people, for the type of inflammatory ailments I talked about, sciatica, pain from a hernia. It will not cure the hernia, of course, but the pain associated with it, nerve pain, arthritis, all that kind of stuff. Most people, it does work well. And when it works, it tends to work dramatically. So because of the level of pain relief, and people who live with chronic pain know what that's like. That's why I said pain, and pain. But as we talked about before the show, people do have success with it for anxiety. I take a lot of CBD. I take 200 to 300 milligrams a day. I'm a zealot, and so I don't, whatever anti-anxiety type of qualities it might have had for me, I think are lost on me with that that quantity of CBD being consumed each day. But it is good. We get feedback about anxiety. I've received feedback, people saying this is the best stuff my wife has had for Parkinson's in 20 years, multiple sclerosis. Sleep, it helps people sleep. Again, I take enough where I think I'm kind of immune to that effect. And I want to throw this out there again with the cautionary statement that this is completely anecdotal. It's my own experience, but it was also dramatic, kind of along the lines of the level of drama associated with how much pain left when I started taking it. As I was telling you guys before, I've only been sick twice in 3.5, 4 years that I've been taking CBD. And I have a 17-year-old daughter and an 11-year-old son. And the son in particular would get sick 3 or 4 times a winter, and he would never fully get better. One bug would lead into the other. I would get at least half of them. And this was every year. I mean, I was sick 3 times at least every single year, if not 4. Until I started taking CBD. My family, all of them, my kids and my wife take CBD now also. They do get colds on occasion, but I am the only one who is very diligent on taking CBD every day. I don't think that's a coincidence. So, I can't promise you will not get the common cold or sick from when you take CBD, but I can tell you my own experience does back up the preliminary evidence that's out there that does seem to suggest that CBD could also be a powerful antiviral and antibacterial, in addition to being an anti-inflammatory. And when you start to look at all these applications, you can see why the pharmaceutical industry wants nobody to know about any of this.
Excellent information. On that note, it's probably a perfect time for us to take a short break, and then we'll be back with some more questions for Ben. Take it away, TK.
Folks, you must visit Angie's Fresh Produce, 4447 Long Beach Road, Southport. Beautiful fresh produce at a great price. Angie's has just about every vegetable you want. In-store shopping and pickup, and all wheelchair accessible. Call Angie's Fresh Produce at 910-477-9068.
Are you tired of making bad choices? Well, don't. Choose Best Choice Roofing for all your roofing needs. From free inspection to timely repairs, we've got you covered. And with our Owens Corning Platinum Preferred status, we'll have you covered for years to come. Give us a call at 910-228-5000 or go to bestchoiceroofing.com today to schedule your absolutely free, no obligation roof assessment.
Veteran Awareness sponsored by You Are Not Alone. Today's veteran homeless rate is approximately 19,750, and the numbers are declining because of the various veteran programs. If you are a veteran you know is homeless, please call 877-4AID-VET. This is a confidential and toll-free call. From this veteran to other veterans, please be there to help our brother and sister veterans. Again, the number is 1-877-424-3838. And thank you for your service.
Are you nervous about joining a gym? Anxious about not being able to keep up with others in the fitness classes? Full Circle Fitness has your solution. We specialize in working with those just getting started on their fitness journey. Our coaches tailor each workout to you and your level of ability, so you don't have to worry about keeping up. There's no better opportunity to get started. Call today, Full Circle Fitness, 910-399-8350, or visit FullCircleFitnessNC.com.
It seems like every other store now is selling some kind of CBD. But did you know that there is only one hemp company making products right here in Wilmington? I'm talking about Carolina Pure. They are Wilmington's first and only CBD company featuring tinctures, topicals, and pet products. They even source from local hemp farms. So come out to the Alcove Beer Garden in the Cargo District this Sunday at noon. Carolina Pure will be there for the Nourish NC food drive. Check out their products, grab a sample, and find out what the buzz is about. Keep it local with Carolina Pure.
The Boiling Spring Lakes Motel, located at 2 North Shore, is a peaceful and convenient place to stay. Newly renovated rooms with a comfortable back porch welcomes everyone. Discount rates are available to those who might need more time. Close to the beach, everything you need for a fun vacation. Call Stephanie at 910-845-2893. Boiling Spring Lakes Motel.
Is 910-444-0281. Don't forget our webpage also, livingfitafter5050.com. And on that note, I'll throw it back over to Lori.
All right. So yeah, on the break, we were talking with Ben about some of his products. So one of the things that he had touched upon was the tinctures. And my daughter has rheumatoid arthritis, 28 years old. And I sent her up one of your tinctures, and it's amazing the results that she has had from that. Not only just for her arthritis, but her anxiety. And I know that you had spoken about that. So with the tinctures, how much do most people, would you recommend people use of that? And for your product line, do you have different milligrams, or is it basically all the same?
No, we have tinctures that range from 1,000 milligrams to 5,000 milligrams a bottle, with one in the middle at 2,500. Each of our products comes available in plain and mint flavor, and also broad spectrum and full spectrum. So there's 4 iterations of each, dosage level. The 1,000 milligram bottle, I would not recommend for anybody that's dealing with, chronic pain issues, because I advocate, again, it'd be nice to have some research eventually emerge so I could give a better answer here. But I know that 100 milligrams a day worked for me very, very well. So I just based on my own experience, I advocate that people take with dealing with chronic, persistent pain, that they start, with 50 milligrams a day. I have read that it's good to build up. I did not experience that myself, but better safe than sorry. It does make a very small percentage of people drowsy, even without any THC or anything else. My brother actually is the most pronounced one. He gets very drowsy. I don't know anybody else that gets very drowsy. A couple other people feel drowsy, and this is from hundreds and hundreds of people. So it's rare, but you don't want to take the first time 100 milligrams and find out it makes you drowsy while you're driving to work. So, start with 25 to 50 milligram, but work up to 100 for chronic pain, and for general well-being. For people who are dealing with anxiety, for whom it works well, 25 to 50 milligrams, I've been told, does the job for most people for that. And that it could be taken on an as-needed basis. But as I've said, I feel there are so many health benefits that, why not take it, every day with a decent dosage? We try to price it so that you can do that without breaking the bank. And, I think that the science will, kind of substantiate the things I'm saying today over the coming years.
Yeah, I think the science is really, as you kind of mentioned, they're still in the infancy on that. They weren't doing any research for a long time because a lot of people still equate CBD with pot. I mean, they do.
Yep.
And it's not the same thing. But over the last, like I said, I wrote a book about 4 years ago on it, and there was more and more research even then, but I'm seeing more and more coming out now. And there's a lot of benefits to it. But are there any negatives? I'm not aware of any real negatives. Are you aware of any negatives to taking it?
No, and again, I want to qualify my answer by saying that, more research is needed to answer this, without qualification. But I mean, the negatives would be full spectrum, causing, and again, full spectrum likely will not cause a positive drug test, but I can't promise that it won't. So there's that. So you want to stay away from that if you can't have that positive. My wife found out the hard way that she can feel the THC's effect in these products. Again, that's a small number of people that can, but if you can, it's not pleasant if you're not expecting it. So that's there's that potential negative on the full spectrum product. But as far as actually taking CBD itself, I am not aware. I've not seen anything in any literature anywhere suggesting that it's. I've read a couple things early on, but then they ended up being incorrect, and I don't remember what they were. Like, just weird statements being made. Misunderstandings or just flat out, disinformation, perhaps coming from who knows, perhaps pharmaceutical companies. I wouldn't put it past them. But no, to answer your question, I'm not aware of any real consequential downsides.
Nor am I, and that's an important point to consider. Though, is do your research on it before you decide to take it or not. But in general, I don't want to say it's harmless, but what have you found? And I'll give my answer first, which was the medical community. At least the doctors that I've talked to about it are generally positive about it.
Yep.
What have you found? Yeah. What have you found?
Yeah, I cut my hand in the production facility a few months ago, and I went to MedAct to see about stitches, and I actually didn't need them that time. I cut my hand another time in the facility and did need stitches. But I was talking to doctors, and they'd actually heard of my brand, Carolina Pure, and were positive on CBD. I love this story, so I'll try to make it quick. But a high school buddy of mine who is a small owner in Carolina Pure was visiting his parents, and his dad thought we were selling snake oil, didn't believe in CBD at all. And my buddy was there one morning when he woke up, and his dad was sitting rigid in a kitchen chair, and his mom was preparing to call an ambulance because his back was in such bad shape all of a sudden overnight that he couldn't even move, and they needed an ambulance to get him to the hospital. And my buddy was like, "Dad, will you just try this stuff now?" And he said, "Sure, what the heck, give it to me." And so they put on some topical, and his dad was able to cross the room after 15 minutes and get out of his chair and walk a bit. He was still hurting, but he was able to move. And he called that alone a miracle. And so the ambulance ride became, okay, we're going to drive him to the hospital. But he continued to improve to the point where it ended up just being getting in the car and driving to a MedAct type clinic up in Massachusetts. And he just thought, he was blown away by it. And the doctor there, so he told him what he had done. The doctor said, "Well, just keep taking that CBD," So yes, the few interactions I've had or heard about with doctors has been more positive than I thought from a medical establishment that I figured would just soundly reject it until there was more, clinical data.
Yeah, I was actually surprised because I've mentioned it to a few doctors, and I expected the same thing you did, which is that they would have a negative viewpoint on it, and it was exact opposite. And I would encourage people, if you're considering it, talk to your doctor. We always do that because we got to cover ourselves legally. But as with any supplement, you should check with your doctor before taking anything. I've talked with, over the years, probably well over 15, 20 doctors about it. I have yet to have a single negative reaction to it.
That's great.
Very, very positive in general. And in fact, several of them said, "Oh, how I use it." So
yeah, they can't recommend it. I believe they can't. I have not heard about a doctor well, I guess did just mention an example of one doctor saying go ahead and keep taking the CBD. But I think you'll find it unlikely that doctors will say, oh, you're feeling sore in your shoulder, take some CBD. But yes, I mean, when you're just talking to them kind of, off the record or more conversationally, so to speak, it does seem, surprisingly that they are, and I guess it positive. And I guess it boils down to the fact that, they're in the medical field. They know, some of the stuff that we are talking about because they see people who are hurting all the time. And so it would be kind of hard to be unaware of the effect it has for many people, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Is as more research comes out, I think the medical community will embrace it even more, because as you mentioned earlier on, the Tylenols, the NSAIDs, all those things, to take them over and over again is not good for you long term. And to the best of my knowledge, and correct me if I'm wrong, there's no evidence whatsoever that long-term CBD use has any negative connotations towards it.
Devil's advocate would be, counterpoint would be that, they have not been studying it long enough for there to be any.
And that is a fair point.
I mean, that didn't stop them from, declaring, vaccines safe that had been studied for 3 months, but that was a special situation. So the devil's advocate would be it hasn't been around long enough in the public's market, public marketplace to have determined that. But again, especially when you're talking about weighing this against other things you might be taking that do have concrete downsides, whether we're talking about something that's metabolized through your liver, is degenerative to your joints, both. And this is something I don't know, have not heard as much feedback about, but I have heard here and there people talking about, being able to come off of antidepressants by using these hemp products and, antidepressants, coming off of them. If anyone, if you guys have ever done it, it's a miserable process. So, there are concrete downsides to a lot of the things that you might take instead of hemp. And I would be very surprised to eventually learn that CBD has any kind of downside equal to many of these other things we're talking about.
Yeah, especially, I mean, there's more research, and I think on the pot side of things, and because they've used that research to make it legal in many states. Even though it's a different product, it's different, but not that different. And I think some of the research kind of crosses over there. And like you said, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out over the next 10, 15, 20 years.
THC I'm sorry, you go ahead first.
No, go ahead.
THC is definitely known to be a powerful, pain relieving cannabinoid as well. One of the problems there is that the dosages that you might want to take to relieve pain might make some people uncomfortably high. So there is that downside to using THC as a pain reliever. For some people, it works just fine. They don't mind the effect. But that's something you don't have to deal with. And the other hemp, cannabinoids that are non-psychoactive. But I have heard plenty of stories and read up on, people finding a lot of pain relief through THC. It just comes with the effect of, making you high.
Which some people want. Let's be honest.
Lori,
we're not going to go there, right?
I can't throw any stones.
Go ahead, Lori.
So, Ben, about the tinctures, do you
Why don't you
just
explain what a tincture is first?
Yeah, what is a tincture
Sure.
and how do you use them?
Sure, of course. Tincture is also often referred to as, CBD or hemp oil as well. They are pretty much synonymous in this case. It is almost always, all of our products, certainly, and I'm not even aware of a competitor's product that does not mix their hemp with MCT oil, which is medium chain triglyceride oil, which is basically the best part of coconut oil. And coconut oil in and of itself is healthy, and this is the best part of it. So we use certified organic MCT oil. And on that note, I'll say that our products are all organic. They are not certified organic because we do not have a certified organic production facility. But our hemp is sourced locally from North Carolina and our neighboring states. It is grown in accordance with OMRI standards. It's the governing body that sets the organic standards. The other ingredients that we buy are organic. So it is an organic product, and our early labels said that. And then I learned that we couldn't have that there. So I had to get new labels. But so tincture is just, a proper tincture should only have hemp distillate, which is when you cut down the plants and harvest them. You dry them, and you process them, and the first thing you get is crude oil. And some people make products out of that, but usually it's further processed into a distillate, which is a solid at room temperature, and it's just stuff from the hemp plant, the CBD and other trace cannabinoids. And you mix that with MCT oil, and there's your tincture, maybe a little mint flavor, but that's pretty much it. It's a basic ingredient recipe list or ingredient list. And you put it under your tongue to absorb it sublingually for about 20 or 30 seconds, and then you swallow, and that's it. Those are the usage instructions, and I do that in the morning and at night. I don't know if it matters if you take it twice a day, but I just space it out a little bit. And it's a simple product, and maybe one that people don't know a lot about because tinctures are kind of an old school thing, but clearly making a comeback these days.
So is it like 1 drop, 2 drops, 3 drops?
Oh yeah, all of our products have the dosage information in them. So it depends. No, it's usually going to be measured by the dropper full, as in like as much as the dropper will absorb on each time. And that's the way, because our 1,000 milligram bottle, if you fill the dropper all the way, it's about 33 milligrams of CBD per serving. And our 5,000 is 185 milligrams or so per serving. And so, depending on what if you're using it as needed for anxiety and are only looking for 25 or 50 milligrams, you probably would want our 1,000 milligram because it would be easier to dose. If you're looking for that 100 to, up to the range of what I take a day, you're probably going to want the 5,000 milligram bottle. So you're not taking, a third of the bottle at a time. Basically it's just, there's not enough, data to really give firm answers on dosing. It's just kind of find what works for you, and then, select the product that, most easily accomplishes that with dosing.
I think that brings up a good point that a lot of people, I don't think understand when I was doing the research for the book, is they take it one time and they don't feel any effect. Let's say a tincture, they try it one time, they don't feel any effects that one time. So they think it doesn't work. Really, though, you've got to kind of build towards it. Would you agree with that?
Definitely. In fact, I'm guilty of that. I didn't mention earlier on that I did have a first experience with CBD about a year before Florence, and I did just that. I bought a bottle of it, tried it once or twice. I don't even remember what the dosing. I just took a dropper and tried it again. Oh, this doesn't seem to do anything, and forgot about it until my friend Justin kind of said you really should try this again a year later. So yeah, and for that exact reason that you just said, initially we were handing out samples of CBD tincture, hemp tincture to be specific, but with CBD being the primary ingredient. And I think that just that happened. I think people tried it and put it down, didn't come back to it. So we don't do that anymore. We give out the topicals as samples because when those work, they work the first time and they work in a few minutes. So we think that's a better first foot forward. So we focus all of our samples on the topical front for that reason.
Perfect. I think we're pretty close. Time for a break.
Let's take a break. It's a perfect time to do it.
So next segment.
Yep. Well, we'll throw it to TK to take a quick break, and then we'll come back with more questions for Ben.
Oh no, our roof is leaking and hurricane season is right around the corner. Don't let a leaky roof keep you up at night. Protect your home. Call Best Choice Roofing to schedule your free, yes, absolutely free roof inspection. Best Choice Roofing works with insurance or can repair the roof before the next storm, whether it's a full replacement or a repair. Choose the best. Call Best Choice Roofing at 910-228-5000 or go to bestchoiceroofing.com to book your appointment today.
Veteran Awareness sponsored by You Are Not Alone. Today's veteran homeless rate is approximately 19,750, and the numbers are declining because of the various veteran programs. If you or a veteran you know is homeless, please call 877-4AID-VET. This is a confidential and toll-free call. From this veteran to other veterans, please be there to help our brother and sister veterans. Again, the number is 1-877-424-3838. And thank you for your service.
Folks, you must visit Angie's Fresh Produce, 4447 Long Beach Road, Southport. Beautiful fresh produce at a great price. Angie's has just about every vegetable you want. In-store shopping and pickup, and all wheelchair accessible. Call Angie's Fresh Produce at 910-477-9068. The Boiling Spring Lakes Motel, located at 2 North Shore, is a peaceful and convenient place to stay. Newly renovated rooms with a comfortable back porch welcomes everyone. Discount rates are available to those who might need more time. Close to the beach, everything you need for a fun vacation. Call Stephanie at 910-845-2893. Boiling Spring Lakes Motel.
Have you heard about Cape Fear's only fitness community exclusively for those over 50? At Full Circle Fitness, we understand that goals, lifestyles, and our bodies change through the decades, which is why our Living Fit After 50 is custom designed to help you get a safe, effective workout without spending hours in the gym. Get started today. Call 910-399-8350 or visit FullCircleFitnessNC.com.
It seems like every other store now is selling some kind of CBD. But did you know that there is only one hemp company making products right here in Wilmington? I'm talking about Carolina Pure. They are Wilmington's first and only CBD company featuring tinctures, topicals, and pet products. They even source from local hemp farms. So come out to the Alcove Beer Garden in the Cargo District this Sunday at noon. Carolina Pure will be there for the Nourish NC food drive. Check out their products, grab a sample, and find out what the buzz is about. Keep it local with Carolina Pure.
All right, we are back to Living Fit After 50. We got an amazing show today. Just a quick note, don't forget you can call in if you have any questions, 910-444-0281. And also, I forgot to mention this last week. We have a private Facebook group called Living Fit After 50. You can jump in there anytime you'd like. We will let you in. You have to ask permission, though. That's just to keep the scammers out. We do make sure that there's no scammers jumping in there. But you can go on Facebook, search for Living Fit After 50, and be part of the conversation there. So as we're coming back in, I wanted to share a story that I shared with Ben prior to when we went on the air, which is one of our clients, members at the studio, had bought a chocolate bar with CBD. And you're really only supposed to do 1 or 2 squares.
Can I interject? Because it's not CBD. It's not CBD. There's no CBD in that chocolate bar. No.
What is it?
Delta 8 THC.
Okay. Well, he ate the whole bar. He thought it was regular chocolate, and he ate the whole bar. Long story short, he was fine. There was no problem, but he was a happy camper for a few days.
I'll take that opening to, I want to make it clear, that is not sold by Carolina Pure. I have another hemp company which sells things that are illegal cannabinoids that do in fact make you high. That company is called Delta Elevate, and we can talk about that some other time. But nothing that Carolina Pure sells will get you high unless you're one of those people that's very sensitive to the trace amounts of THC. You want to be crystal clear on that. We don't sell any other bars that make you high.
And the other thing I would be crystal clear on is don't overdo it. But he didn't know, to be fair to him. So Lori's got a question about CBD for pets, I think.
I do. Yeah. So, Ben, a lot of our clients and a lot of people in the area have pets and have a lot of anxiety, especially with storms and things. And what do you have for dogs and cats?
I'm glad you asked, because that is definitely a large market and growing. People love to spend money on their pets. And in fact, the first experience I had with pets and CBD, my current partner, Jared, at the time was not my partner, just our wives worked together at UNCW, asked me for some dog treats or whatever, some CBD to give to their dogs so they would stay calm during some approaching hurricane. And so I just threw some oats with some peanut butter together and some CBD and gave it to them. And they said that their dog, was very calm throughout, and that was not how it usually went. So that was the first feedback I'd received. So yes, for temperament, for anxiety, storms, things like that, it's effective, but it doesn't stop there. I mean, the most common, I'll back up. We sell dog treats, cat treats, a bacon flavored tincture, and we also have a topical product for pets as well. And I'll expound on that topical product in a second. But the most common feedback we get from the pet products is that their dog or other horse, whatever, is acting younger because of the same, inflammatory issues that affect dogs, their joints as they get older. And, the CBD alleviates that for a lot of them, and therefore they act like they're younger and run around and all that, like they used to. There is no such thing as pet grade CBD. Our pet CBD tincture is simply a lower dosage tincture with some bacon flavor. Otherwise, you could take it as a human. There's no difference. Again, some companies might try to make it sound like it, but there isn't. And in fact, I'll do one better. If you buy our 1,000 milligram tincture, you could give that to your dog without the bacon flavor. I do, and it's cheaper than buying our bacon flavored dog product. But some people want that, this is for dogs, so I'm giving it to my dog on the label. So we have that.
Expound on this. We use it for both our dogs because one in particular, Molly, is when there's ever a storm around, she goes crazy. And Maggie, our other dog's starting to get that way. And we've had tremendous success with the bacon flavored
both
tincture.
The tincture and the treats. Maggie loved the treat. She ate the whole thing. And I was like, I only wanted to give you half. But she has high anxiety when she even goes to get groomed. So I gave her a dog treat the last time she got groomed. And it was the first time I had used that for the grooming. And when I picked her up, I said, how was she? And they said, very calm. Was something different? And I said, yes. I started giving her some CBD prior to coming. So I was pleasantly pleased with that result because she's high with anxiety. So the pet products you have are amazing. And some of our clients have purchased the cat treats, the dog treats. So highly recommended. And I know that when I gave the dogs the bacon flavor, Dan was like, well, where's mine? And
Yeah,
said,
I was like, where's my
dog."
bacon flavored one?
But now that you clarified he can have it, I'll just give him some bacon flavored dog.
She's going to slip it to me later on. You watch. Actually, that begs a question that I was asked a couple of years ago, and I didn't know the answer then. But you can mix the tinctures with other things, right? Like you mentioned, you put it in with MCT. Is it possible to mix it in with, say, I'll just use coffee or something like that?
I mean,
would
you
it
won't
have
get
the same effect?
Yes, it won't take effect as quickly because you're consuming it. It's going to be digested versus the sublingual absorption under your tongue and putting it in the coffee. You're just going to be drinking it. But yes, ultimately, it'll take a few minutes longer, but you'll get the same effect. My dog is named Maggie as well. Well, her name is
right behind us. Yeah, she's sitting behind us right now. She's like, "Where's my?"
Dan and Lori are fighting through COVID to do this show, so I got to give them props for being troopers here. But yeah, my dog is named Magnolia, and we call her Maggie, and she's a 2-year-old Australian Shepherd, and when I first developed the topical product, which is largely argan oil and CBD. Argan oil is also great for your skin and for hair, whatever. Anyway, I came up with it. I tried it on her, and she had some dander. And this is not great for resale value because I put it on her one time and she hasn't had dander since. But
oh, really?
Yeah, I can't. Again, anecdotal. No idea if it would have gone away on its own anyway. But it hasn't come back, and this was many months ago now, maybe even a year. One of my employees, Ashley Conway, that we were talking about, has an older dog with a cyst, and he said that putting a topical on it the cyst dissipated. It came back, but then he put it on again and it dissipated again, which is interesting. Obviously, it's not curing the cyst, but the inflammation is subsiding for a period of time. But it's also, presumably, and again, I don't have enough experience. My dog's not old enough to have aches and pains yet, but presumably if you put it on their joints, it would work the same way as the topicals do for us on our joints. But again, you can be proactively, preventing some of this stuff by just giving it to them orally on a daily basis. I give my dog, who's about 50 pounds, about 20 milligrams or so a day. And again, there's not nearly enough data to say this is the dosage it should be, but that's I've seen that around enough on the internet. And I believe everything I read on the internet. So, 20 milligrams per 50 pounds of body weight, seems to be a general rule of thumb. But again, just try it out for your dog and see how it works. We do sell far fewer cat treats than we do dog treats. People like to spend money on their dogs more, apparently.
Right.
But we do have cat treats as well. We set up shop on a cold February morning outside of a PetSmart, and in conjunction with something they were doing, and we sold $500 worth of pet stuff in a few hours on one blustery Saturday morning. So people definitely there's a big market there, and for good reason. We get great feedback on our pet products.
Absolutely. So we have a few more minutes left. So a couple of things I want to answer. 3 more minutes. So 2 questions for you. One is, why is your product better than all those in the shops around town?
Well, first of all, we are the only people that make it here in Wilmington. So if you want to support a local business, we are the only local manufacturer of CBD products. Make it right here down in the Monkey Junction next to you guys. Another thing, as I said, CBD is CBD. Our CBD is not more special than anybody else's, but we are diligent. We have all of our stuff tested, as everybody that's a responsible retailer should. But price, we are aggressively priced. I'm not a saint. I want to make money, but I do want to get in people's hands. And the price of our competitors, many of them make it really an affluent person's supplement. And, that's not what we want. There's money to be made at these lower price points where we're at. And so, the fact that we're local and the fact that we are likely as cheap or cheaper than just about anybody you're going to find are 2 pretty good reasons.
Perfect. And I have seen your shop, and it's amazing to watch. All right, Ben. How can people reach you if they want to reach out to you? And you have a special event coming up. Why don't you tell the viewers about that?
Yep. This Sunday, we are going to be supporting Nourish NC at the, I think they call this event, it's a weekly thing down in the Cargo District here in Wilmington, parking lot party, I believe they call it. And it's sort of like a flea market, farmer's market. So we'll be down there this Sunday at noon for, I believe, 4 hours, supporting Nourish NC. So come on out with some non-perishable food for them, for their food drive, and you can check us out there, get some samples. You can also find us on our website, which is carolinapureshop.com. carolinapure.com is already taken by a water company, so that was out. So we are carolinapureshop.com. And I created a code for the listeners today. Pure 30, PURE 30, Pure 30 will get you 30% off anything you buy on our website for the next week. So go ahead and load up. And we're also on Instagram, simply Carolina Pure altogether, no spaces or dashes or anything, is our Instagram handle. And we are working on other social media, outlets as well as we speak. But right now it's Instagram.
Awesome. All right. So I believe we will take our final break. TK, if you're ready, you can take it away, and we'll come back to close out our show and go from there.
Are you tired of making bad choices? Well, don't. Choose Best Choice Roofing for all your roofing needs. From free inspection to timely repairs, we've got you covered. And with our Owens Corning Platinum Preferred status, we'll have you covered for years to come. Give us a call at 910-228-5000 or go to bestchoiceroofing.com today to schedule your absolutely free, no obligation roof assessment.
How far would you go if you had a group of strong, amazing people who support, motivate, and inspire one another to achieve their fitness goals and dreams? At Full Circle Fitness, we aren't just a place to work out. We're a community of amazing people who work together to reclaim our bodies and do things we thought we'd never be able to do again. Ready to set your fears aside and stop making excuses? Call today, Full Circle Fitness, 910-399-8350, or visit FullCircleFitnessNC.com.
It seems like every other store now is selling some kind of CBD. But did you know that there is only one hemp company making products right here in Wilmington? I'm talking about Carolina Pure. They are Wilmington's first and only CBD company featuring tinctures, topicals, and pet products. They even source from local hemp farms. So come out to the Alcove Beer Garden in the Cargo District this Sunday at noon. Carolina Pure will be there for the Nourish NC food drive. Check out their products, grab a sample, and find out what the buzz is about. Keep it local with Carolina Pure.
Marine Service Pro and the Tackle Box Seafood, located at 8210 River Road, Southport, is open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, with the Tackle Box open Monday through Saturday, 7 to 6. Marine Service Pro is a full Suzuki and Tohatsu dealership. They deal in pre-owned boats, full service and repair, with certified technicians in all engines, and fiberglass specialists. The Tackle Box offers fresh, local seafood, live bait, a tackle shop, and fish packing and shipping. They also offer a full-service U-Haul dealership. Spend time with Leon or Jenny for one-stop shopping at Marine Service Pro and the Tackle Box Seafood, 8210 River Road, Southport. Folks, you must visit Angie's Fresh Produce, 4447 Long Beach Road, Southport. Beautiful fresh produce at a great price. Angie's has just about every vegetable you want. In-store shopping and pickup, and all wheelchair accessible. Call Angie's Fresh Produce at 910-477-9068.
And we're back to close the show out. We've only got a couple of minutes. Just a reminder, if you are watching us on Facebook or YouTube, do us a favor, give us a like and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget our website, livingfitafter50.com. And there's show notes on there. There's replays of prior shows. There's tons of stuff on there. Next week, we're going to be doing a Q&A session, Lori and I, because we've got a bunch of questions, and we're going to periodically do Q&A. So if you have questions that you want to ask of Lori and I, or as trainers or nutrition specialists,
I
dogs
tell you,
use them.
great product.
So-
I've got nothing but rave
Nothing but
reviews from
yes.
everybody that has used it.
Many of our
so.
members are. On that note, we are going to close it down for the week. We will see you all next Friday, 1 p.m. live here on the Big Talker Network. Until then, you all have a great week.
Take care.